Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is It's About the Pasta, a Vanderpump Rules podcast. Season 5, episode 4. It's a good season. I don't remember some of it, so it's exciting for me.
I love it. I love every episode. I also like
good.
I think this is the hardest one. We talked about this last episode. This is
It's
the
hard to
hardest
watch.
one.
It's
I
hard
think to watch being my current
There's a
age.
lot of bullying. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was able to pass off a lot saying that they were like young, but now that like marriage and like things like that are on the table, I'm like, you guys are like adults now.
They're also kind of our age in this, and I don't think
Or current ages.
Yeah, maybe a little older still.
Can you imagine living their life right now?
No, I'm exhausted watching it.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, well, before we get into the details, check us out on the A&M Podcast Network. We have this podcast. We have Summer is Fun, a Summer House podcast, which also includes Winter House and Martha's Vineyard. And we have One Season Wonders. Please be sure to rate, review, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Vanderpasta. We have videos now, which please don't shade us when I look upset like this.
Now.
I just worked out. Also, I know I don't make my bed sometimes. I don't need you to tell me.
Get off her back. No comments unless nice ones.
I'm a mess. At least I'm not a messy bitch like these people, okay?
They're about to say like me, and I was like, damn.
No, I've shaded you enough on this podcast. I'm trying to stop.
You really got me during Martha's Vineyard.
That was awesome. And so, also you can join our Patreon, patreon.com/Vanderpasta. Let me tell you what you can get. For $1 a month, you get access to all of our fun pre-shows where Meredith, Sarah, and I talk about whatever the hell we want. Also, you get episodes we record early, including this one. This was on the Patreon way before it was released live. For $2 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when we do bold seasons like this one, we do an after show, so we can do these episodes spoiler free, and we can talk about Bravo News on the after show. And also, we'll say our name on the podcast. So, thank you to Brittany, Chris, Darby, Dee, Dustin, Gabriella, Jackie, Jamie, Kirsten, Casey, Kelsey, Lauren, Sarah, Cameron, Tierney, Tonette, Tracy, Emily, Gina, Jennifer H, Jennifer T, Jesse, Leanne, Robin, Taylor, and Tiffany.
Woohoo! You know what, Alicia, I commend you every week for giving.
One day I'm gonna have you do it.
No, I thought about this because you're going on vacation, like
one day,
and we aren't gonna record for like a week. That I was like, oh, maybe Sarah and I will just record us, and then I was like, no,
and you're like, I can't read.
I don't want to do the Patreon conversation. It's a no. So shout out to Alicia.
Thank you so much, and thank you guys for being part of the Patreon. And then for $5 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when we do live seasons, I will ask weekly, almost, for your questions, comments, opinions, and concerns and whatever, and we'll read them on the podcast. I might do that once we hit like the halfway mark in this, for people who are following along.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let you know. You know what? It's my discretion. Thank you so much.
It's Alicia's podcast or Patreon world, and we're just living in it.
You just fucking live in it. And also, we'll pick a patron of the episode. So this week's patron of the episode is Tonette. Because Meredith and I obviously watch all the Bravo stuff. So we watch Below Deck Down Under. And so does Tonette because she was commenting about it.
Oh, about the stuff that
she cried also.
We're
cry sisters because I also cried.
I get that.
Okay, so let's get into the episode because I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Okay, so previously on Vanderpump Rules, Schwartz pranks his groomsmen with ass food. Katie called Lala a whore. She called it as she saw it, and then they fought. James isn't fired yet, but he's on thin ice. Katie's mad at Scheana for talking to Lala, even though she has no idea what Scheana said. She just saw with her own two eyes.
It made me more angry than when we watched it last week.
It was all bad.
Just that clip really got me. I was like, God damn it, Katie.
Imagine being their age, because this is what we are, and for you to be like, I saw her come up to you and you responded when you should have just ignored.
Respond? And you were like, I was telling her to leave me alone. It doesn't matter what you said.
She asked me for help. I'd be like, I'm not going to leave her. I don't know what she said.
It doesn't matter. Katie didn't know anything, you know?
No.
Yeah.
Lala could have said you have a bug in your hair.
Yeah.
She would come in
Can
like,
you imagine?
thanks.
It's like, hey, you have some green stuff in your teeth.
Scheana's like, fuck you. Oh. So, okay, we go out to eat with Sandoval, Ariana, and Ariana's brother, Jeremy. Jeremy has moved in with Tom and Ariana. And their sex life has declined. They used to have sex 3 times a week. Now they have it every other week.
I get this.
This
It
is
would
fun. You got your brother.
it
My
would
brother is
really
not going to
stress
hear me
me
have
out.
sex.
Also,
My brother's never.
I've never understood the layout of this apartment, so
I didn't even know there were 2 rooms.
neither did I. But
I was like, what?
well, I was like, oh, is there a bed now in the living room? Is there a second room? It doesn't matter. But I bet wherever both parties are sleeping, they share a wall, and I'm not interested.
And it'd be a different thing if it was like a roommate I was not related to, but it's my brother. I don't want to have sex with my brother next door.
I don't need this like to be a conversation at Thanksgiving.
If he's a blood relative, it's not happening.
Yeah, weird.
Okay, so Lala rolls up in her Range Rover.
Mm.
They joke about how Lala needs a burner car because everyone's really concerned with her Range Rover.
I think that's so funny. Like,
that's
what
hilarious.
a funny comment if she got like a fake car just to like get people off her shit.
Lala says she's sucking dick for a lot more than Range Rovers, which
hell yeah,
get that bag, it,
rev their anger up even more. Be like, oh, you think I'm getting that from a guy? No, I'm paying for that myself. I get way better.
Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Lala shares that she went to James's yesterday to help make his apartment better for his girlfriend Raquel, who is coming in today.
I'm sorry. Since when has James had a girlfriend?
No one knows Raquel. I was like,
oh yeah, girlfriend's coming. I'm like, who the fuck is this chick?
Lala could have hit that beat last week. Why are we hitting it
this
week? So we find out Raquel is 21, which I think James is like 25, so it's not too weird, right?
I bet he's like
24
maybe, because his first season he was 21. So was his first season 3? It had
3. Yeah. So he's 23-ish, 24.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not like a weird age range.
No.
She's also a pageant girl. And Raquel is gonna stay in James's living room partition.
Well, bedroom. 2 parts of this. Every time being from the Midwest, like people or pageants were kind of around, but not a lot. The minute somebody says pageants, I think toddlers and tiaras immediately.
I think toddlers and tiaras. I don't know one person who did pageants.
No. Well, come on. There would be like those little ones or something. Like, I'm sure I probably knew someone in a pageant at some point. But not like a career pageant girl.
No one in like high school or college did pageants.
No.
But did we watch toddlers and tiaras?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, we did. I know what a flipper is. Bet.
Stop it.
Bet what a flipper is.
Oh my god.
Raquel's gonna stay in the partitioned bedroom.
Another
she's
thing,
21. She's had weirder shit.
That's true, I guess. She's in college. This kind of gives college vibes. You could get me to do this in college, but me at
if you're in college dating a DJ, this is your life.
A DJ in LA. Like,
this is your life.
You're excited.
This is what's happening.
She's telling the story differently though to friends back at college. She's saying he has his own room.
He has a real room. He has 4 walls.
He has a whole bed.
This group is really concerned about how Raquel and James are gonna fuck. But Sandoval's like, you could easily do it in a bathroom, and everyone's like, the bathroom's really small, and he's like, that's fine. I've done it in an airplane bathroom, and Ariana's like, in a commercial flight. Meredith, have you ever had sex in a commercial bathroom?
No, because honestly, it's not the size of the bathroom that like confuses me with people. It's you walking in and out of that bathroom with 2 people.
Also, I try not to use the bathroom on flights anyway.
Yeah, they're gross.
I'm not gonna have sex in them.
I'm okay not hitting the mile high. Okay. Like, you give me a private jet, we can talk about it, but commercially, no.
Oh, I would do it in a private jet, no problem. We're in economy, I'm not gonna.
Fuck no. Maybe one of those first class, we can turn it into a room. We were just talking Crazy Rich Asians on the pre-show. Like that room.
Partition.
Yeah. You could maybe convince me for that. It would still make me a little uncomfortable, but like.
But also, that's not a bathroom. That's not the airplane bathroom. No. Imagine how awkward you walk out and someone's waiting and they're like,
he actually did this? Because this is definitely like a thing. People love to be a part of the Mile High Club. And sometimes I wonder if people lie.
I think I would judge someone more if they said they've done it. I'd be like, "I
Me
need to
too.
know, did anyone catch you? Like, how did you walk out? How did you
Yes.
have
Where
were
did you
you
put your
on?"
hands?
Yeah, what did you wash after? When did you
Good question.
People are gonna hear, right? Did you flush the toilet? Like, did you not have to go to the bathroom
And
either?
did you
Like,
make no noise? Like those people who are sitting the row right next to the bathroom, you can hear that minute that thing flushes from the
yeah.
outside. So you could hear somebody having sex. I don't need people to hear me having
I
sex
just
on a
I
commercial
just
flight.
I just have
You
I
know
would
what? Bathroom at the front by the captains, or are we like in the back with the flight attendants? Where are you
well, you're
doing
in the
this?
back cuz you're probably in economy.
I just
Now, the partition, I would 100% do, no questions asked. Private jet, no questions asked. Of course, would do it. Economy bathroom is a no for me, dog.
no,
Thanks though.
no, thank you.
Also, it's small.
It just
we're gonna break a wall and fall out the airplane. I just can't have it happen.
I can wait until we're on land.
We're good. Yeah. Okay, so they talk about how James makes Lisa look bad with his behavior and how he only has
This is
one
such a
chance
BS
left.
comment. Like, come on. He does not make Lisa look that bad. Everybody here is a shitty person in their own right.
Do you think James is right? Everyone is just obsessed with him because this whole
No, that
conversation
is
is just
also
about
not
James.
true. We're just hitting our
My dude.
beats, but
James Kennedy.
the problem is this show just gives him the ego because he sees people talking about him because they have to.
I
And
love
he's
it.
like, they're obsessed with me.
So let's keep talking about James and go to his apartment that he shares
Hmm.
with Paul. So he's cleaning and decorating for Raquel, and then Raquel is here, and James is like, "I am so excited! I'm completely in love with her." And then they met at
The way
Pump.
he's in love with her so
He's
quickly.
in love. Well, they met on New Year's Eve. He was
Mm,
DJing.
that's true.
Um and now they're doing long distance because Raquel's in school, but she's home for the summer. And that I was like, she's a child.
But yes.
I literally was like, this she's not old enough to be in a relationship. That's me as an old fogey, just like she's too
Well, I
young.
remember, like, being from St. Louis, I had friends who went to SLU for college, so they, like, had apartments over the summer, and they would stay at them, but I would, like, come to my parents' house, and I'd be
Yeah,
like,
I'd
"I
be
feel
home
so
for the summer.
stupid in my
I
childhood
know.
bedroom as everybody's, like,
I
in their
know.
apartments." I
Yep.
can't imagine being like, "Oh, mom and dad will come home tomorrow, like, gotta go to my boyfriend's apartment in LA and film
That's
his show."
hilarious. That's awesome. Good
Weird.
for well, whatever. So
But
her
I
next
guess good for
pageant,
her.
I guess her next pageant is end of June. We also
Stop
find out
it. This I hate the pageant beats. I don't want to talk about these.
we're gonna talk about Raquel. That's her only job apparently. She's a pageant
That's
girl and a
I guess
student.
they do give money out.
So Raquel works with special needs kids, and then I'm quoting James. I wouldn't say this. James says, and I quote, opposed to Kristen, who is basically a special needs kid, end quote.
The
James
way
Kennedy said that, not me.
the way James like disses people
That was
is
so
so
rude.
insane. Like I don't know
But
how
that's why it's so insulting and offensive, but kind of like you laugh of the shock because you're like, no real person would say that. And he
the way
says
he
it with
structures it.
nothing.
Yes, he's like Raquel here like works a special needs person as opposed to like he just sets up his digs so much better than other people.
It was
Again,
so
again, calling Katie
wow.
pregnant I hate, like and calling Kristen like a special needs person I hate. But the way he like sets these up and then like the British tone just like
It's good
it
TV. It's
gets
good
me
TV.
every time.
It's so funny because it's like, who would actually say
And
this?
he like has a straight face. I know I wouldn't say this joke, but if I had like a great joke, I'm usually laughing as I'm getting the good joke out,
Because
as I'm
I'm
like
hilarious.
delivering it because I just
It's so
think I'm
funny.
so funny.
Yeah.
He never laughs at himself.
It was hilarious. Oh man. So James tells her about the headlock incident, and she basically is like, "Hey, there are people that aren't going to like you. I don't know why though." And then it cuts to a montage of why
Oh,
people might hate
you know
James.
what this is giving me is we're Brittany round two. Like, girly, you're showing up on this reality TV show where you know your boyfriend has been on it for like seasons, and you're like, I can't believe people don't like you. It's like,
I love she's
well,
like She's like, "Why wouldn't anyone like you?" And then he spits on Kristen's door
I
and gets
I thought of you when as soon as that
that was
clip came up.
awesome.
I
That's
was like,
my
"Oh,
favorite.
this
It's
one's
my
for
favorite.
Alicia."
And then James is like, "People are just jealous of me because I'm DJ James Kennedy." And
Oh
Raquel
god.
is like, "Just brush it off, I guess." And I'm like, "She's useless. She does not give a fuck if people like
Also,
James or
her
not.
eyes are so wide open. I like
She's
can't
awake.
imagine
She's up.
having
She's
my
up.
eyes open as so much as like
Just hey, just brush it off. It's no big deal."
just brush it
You doing it was
off.
so scary. That was awesome.
I just I think I'm old and tired now that like my eyes don't open anymore.
She's
She's
a
so
bright
peppy.
21-year-old. Okay?
It hurts me to
She's
watch.
happy to be on TV,
Like I'm
man.
sure my
Oh,
face
that
the
was
whole time was like,
hilarious.
"What? Girly, you can
That was
close the eyes. Blink, please.
hilarious.
Blink."
Okay, so now we go out to you. It's Stassi, Kristen, and Katie. Kristen's talking about how she's getting veneers put in tomorrow, and because she wants to be hot still for
I
men.
I can't. She's literally
Good
dating
for her.
someone and she's like, I still want
Also,
to be hot for
she's
everyone."
she's so hot already. What
Yes.
is she talking about?
I was trying to look at her teeth. The problem is they kept
They
going
look
to her
perfect.
interview,
They
and I was
look
like,
great.
"Don't look at those ones; those are probably post." But I tried to look at her teeth at that
They
teeth
look
hole.
good.
I couldn't see what's wrong with them. There are some people I know who don't have good teeth. I like having good teeth.
I do too.
It's important to me, so I
Same.
understand why people get veneers. But I didn't think she needed them.
I didn't think she needed them. And also Kristen, stop being so hot. I'm over it.
Yeah,
Let
come
me
on,
live.
like save some for the rest of us.
Let me live. Okay, so Kristen and Carter hung out recently with Scheana and Shay at Sheena's parents. I don't know why I had to put that in.
I
It's just so funny that we were
I
at
think
Sheena's
that's
parents.
so funny, and I wish
I
why
loved
didn't we
it.
have a camera here?
I loved it. Okay, so Scheana is upset that Katie is mad at her, but Kristen told Scheana that Scheana also hurt Katie's feelings. And Katie's literally like, "I don't even know what I did to
I
Scheana,
did
okay? I
nothing to
I
her.
was trying to have a critical conversation, and here's Scheana being defensive of my critical conversation."
I try to tell her something and she gets defensive because I am like telling her she
I don't
sucks.
know what I'm talking about.
I was like, I'm sorry, she's not allowed to defend herself when you're like accusing her of speaking words to
Also,
Lala, by the way. That's
a
the offense.
a critical conversation is like, "Hey, I'm getting like my kidney removed." You are critiquing her on something you don't know anything about. Of course she's getting
Yes,
defensive.
and aren't even asking her about. You're just telling her what
No.
she did.
And then everyone says like Sheena being cool with Lala shows she doesn't have loyalty.
I
It's a loyalty thing.
I hated these girls way more than I did last episode. And like it's been a
Yeah.
it's I oh this just literally killed me because I
This
was
was
thinking
mean girl
I will
energy.
never be friends with people like this. I'm
No.
not interested.
Here's my thing too. I'm super loyal. It is one of my biggest things. I am loyal to my friends. But
Mhm.
Meredith, if some girl is beefing with you over I don't even know what and she says
Yep.
hi to me, I'd probably just say hi back and keep on moving.
I
And
don't
if you
think that's
yell at
being
me for that, I'm like,
disloyal. Now
also, if we're working, if we're coworkers, I'm gonna talk to this
yes.
person. I'm gonna
Yes.
talk to this
Like
person.
I can't imagine now if like you were, pounding around going getting drinks with someone that like there's a difference between being cool with someone, friendly, polite, and like being besties with someone. And I think like you should have boundaries sometimes in some friendships, depending on what was done. But if you were already friends with this person beforehand, like why couldn't you be friends with them still? Like just leave my name out of your guys' conversations.
Also, we have been coworkers. I cannot
Yeah.
imagine you hating a coworker and being like, Alicia, you also need to hate them. We worked at a small company, kind of like that, where we all
I
knew each
mean,
other.
we hated the same people though.
But I would never, even if I hated them, I would never not say good morning because we're in a company.
Yes. Yes.
I would
Yes.
never just,
That's
if they
true.
said
We
something to
like
me,
shit
blow
on
them off.
people. We didn't
Yeah,
hate
but
them.
if someone came up and was like, "Hi, Alicia," I wouldn't be like, "No." I would, "Hi, how are you?"
Or I
Kind of
can
moment.
imagine hearing from someone else in our old company that you said hi to someone and then going to you and being like, I can't believe you talked to them.
I would literally be like, "You're
It
insane."
just I don't know if like they're playing if this is how they really are, if they're playing this
This
up for
is
the cameras,
crazy.
if this is LA.
I
But
don't know.
I have had issues with, like, friends and, like, sorority groups where it's, like, lots
Sororities is
of
big.
girls, and I never played this game. I've always been
Same.
uninterested in this bullshit. Do I love drama? Yes, but the right drama. This isn't fun drama.
That's my thing is I'm gonna be nice to people. Obviously if they do something that hurts my friend, I'm gonna be pissed at them, but I'm never gonna be rude because you want me to be
I'll
for
never
no
not say
reason.
hi. Yeah, like, am I
Yeah,
gonna, like, maybe not
it's
wanna hang out with them?
weird.
Sure, but, like,
Sure.
they probably
I'm
have
an
their own
adult.
friends
We're
anyways.
adults. Also, you're being
Yeah.
a bad friend to Scheana to tell
That's
her
the
how to
thing.
act in the workplace.
Yeah, I feel like
A
they're
little
putting
wild.
Scheana in a bad position because 2 out of 3 of those girls don't work at SUR.
Yeah.
That, like, if like, Scheana now has problems in the workplace because she can't, like, talk with someone, that you're making her job life
Stassi,
more
you know what?
difficult.
Stassi and Kristen aren't saying hi to her at work because they don't
They
work
don't have to
there.
work there. They
Sheena should
don't.
quit her job to get away from Lala.
You know what? You're right. That's called loyalty.
There
But
it
Katie
is.
can keep her job, by the way.
Oh, for
Sheena
sure.
just
And
has
she
to
could talk to
quit.
Lala if she wants.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Mhm.
So, so then we go to Sir. Brittany and Sheena are working. Sheena's like, "Ugh, when Katie's drunk, she's so irrational, and then she accuses me of stuff." And
Mhm.
then Lala comes in, and she goes up to Sheena and Brittany, and she's like, "Hey, do we have a party?" And they're like, "Yeah, we have this party in the garden." Sheena's
Mhm.
like, "Okay, cool." And then Sheena's like, or not Sheena. Then Lala's like, "Hey, how was your guys' weekend?" And they ignore her, and then Sheena's like, "Hey, so I'm not trying to be a bitch, but Katie's one of my best friends. So if you talk to me about stuff that's not work, I can't respond to you." And
I
Brittany also it completely ignores Lala and just leaves.
yes. I
This was so rude of both of them.
can't imagine those words coming out of my mouth. Like, "Hey, you and Katie are beefing, and so, like, I can't look you in the eyes or talk to you."
Both of them were so rude. I will hold Brittany to this one too, because Brittany's just like, I won't even. At least Sheena told Lala to her face. Brittany's silent. Like she just.
Brittany does
What if
not have a backbone. We already knew
what if
that.
Sheena wasn't there? Right? What if Lala's like, hey Brittany, how was your weekend? And Brittany
Brittany
just
would
got up and
100%
left.
no, Brittany would 100% have talked to her.
Nah, fucking shit. This is so stupid. If I was Lala, I would literally be like, sorry that I consumed so much of Katie's life that you
If
can't say
any of
hello to
my
me.
friends, even outside of the workplace,
This
said,
is
"Hey, I'm
insane.
sorry, but like Alicia's mad at you," or yeah, so I can't talk to you, I'd be like, then do not talk to me ever again. Like, I do
I'd
not
be
need to
like,
be your friend.
let me know when you get your head out of her ass.
Yeah, like, come on, you're that much controlled by like what her own our issues. I've had friends with like fights with friends and people want to involve themselves, and I'm like, no, 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 no. This is between me and her. Get your way out of it. Like,
Stay
you
out.
do not need to be a part of it. I do not want
Agreed.
you a part of it.
This is unless they axe murder my whole family. You
Yes,
can talk to them if you
like
want, but
criminal or like horrible, really horrible friend shit. Fine, other people can get involved, and I think you should
yeah.
also remove them
They
from
like
your life.
hit me with a car, you can not talk to them anymore.
Well,
But
like
like
stole from me, like really
if they're
bad mouth
dating,
me about
yeah.
people or
If
something
they're
that like
dating a married man, that's fine. You can still talk to them.
hell
And
yeah.
I get Lala has said horrible things, right? But like this is a workplace. It's not like Sheena's
But
like,
she
hey
came and
bitch.
apologized. Like, that is different. And
She
she's not
did.
asking to be Sheena's, like,
She came and
friend right now.
apologized.
She's
And this
asking to
is
be friendly.
it is polite. I don't know what workplace these bitches work at, but like in the workplace, you go, hi, how was your weekend? And that's a very normal conversation where you still probably don't even know anything about the person.
Yes, yes,
You're
yeah,
not giving them
you
your
do small
pin
talk.
code.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah,
She's
fucking
not
hell.
asking, like, "Oh, how's Katie's wedding?" Trying to get details about their actual lives.
Is Schwartz cheating on Katie yet?
Stop
Fucking what?
it.
Like,
No.
what are you asking? It's wild. Okay,
Yes.
so then we go back to lunch with Katie, Kristen, and Stassi. Stassi's talking about some heavy ass trash can when Kristen gets a text and it's from Scheana. And Scheana texted
Oh
Kristen
my
and was like,
god.
oh my God, Lala just tried to say hello to me. And I literally told her to fuck off.
This is what Katie is causing though. Now, like, Scheana has to text them to warn them that
And
she
she
has
can't
actually
text Katie,
spoken.
she has to text a friend.
Yes, that she's actually spoken to Lala because, like, anytime she speaks to Lala, she's gonna have to tell them to make sure that
Yeah.
they know that she's not trying to do this in the dark and, like,
Yeah.
hide things.
So this whole group claps for Scheana.
I
But they said
can't.
They said Scheana should have done that a long time ago. And then Stas even says, "Good job, Scheana. Welcome back to our group of friends. Don't fuck it up." And I was like, this group of friends sucks, Scheana. Get
Yeah.
out. Get out of
The
it.
requirements to be friends with these girls is unreal.
You sell your soul to what they want. And if they do not approve,
Yeah.
you are out. That to me is ridiculous.
What
I
I'm
am my own
curious about
person.
is if they're gonna like the three mean girls are at this launch are gonna like switch like and decide like Lala's cool now. If that happens, will Scheana just flip too, and then Lala's gonna be like,
Yes.
"Fuck you!" Like
As
just because
Lala
they're cool with me
should.
now.
As Lala should. This group of girls is insane to me. This is
It's
horrible.
just based off nothing and so harsh for like whatever
Nothing.
the like what calling Katie fat. That's bad, but like not
Which, like,
this. The
fine, but
punishment is
Lala
worse than the
tried to
crime.
apologize,
Yes.
and it's workplace conversation. Like, I cannot stress enough
It's
how it
yeah,
is a
we're going
workplace
in circles because
conversation.
this is so stupid and
I
it
know.
angers me.
Okay, so Katie still wants to have a conversation though, so the four of them are on the same page because we
Jesus
all have to
Christ.
agree. Great. So then we got back to Sir. Lisa's here. She talks to Diana. Suck a dick, Diana.
Hey Diana, how you doing, girl?
Well, she's not dealing with Kristen anymore. She's dealing with James Kennedy, who she fucking hates. She does not
I
hide
was
it.
like, shit, what did he do between
So
now and last episode?
Diana says James came here drunk and left the whole venue without music because he unplugged it.
Why is that the funniest? Can you imagine
He unplugs
sitting
the
at a
iPod.
table
He's like, no.
and it just goes, "Rrr," and all the music stops and he just like storms out?
It's so funny. And
I would love to be at that night.
I would be like, they just lost power. That's
Iconic.
so.
You
I'm
put that on your
honestly,
Snapchat.
that's so funny. He's like, fuck this place.
I'm out.
So then Lisa says she needs evidence, though, that James has been drinking on the job so she can fire him. And Diana's like, I am your evidence. Just believe me. And
Yeah.
Lisa's like, nah, we're filming a show,
That
Diana.
was a fireable offense. He literally, the only thing he's meant for is bringing music to your restaurant, and he literally took it away. That's fireable.
Lisa's like, listen, Diana, we're shooting a show, and James is a star. So unless you have proof, fuck off.
We're gonna need
Suck
more.
a dick, Diana. Get out of here. Okay, so now we go to Schwartz. He's going to therapy. So he talks to his therapist, this blonde woman, about how he is having cold feet and he feels bad. Like he's going behind Katie's back because he didn't tell Katie he was coming to therapy. Also, he's really scared of her when she loses control and goes to the dark side.
If
You shouldn't get married.
said this about me and we're engaged, let alone set it on a TV show, we're done.
Here's my thing, right? You probably shouldn't get married. But I think going to therapy is a very healthy thing. That I'm happy Schwartz did that.
100%.
I'm happy he's trying to figure out, like, okay, I love Katie. You probably should have done this before you proposed, but like, I'm in love with her and I want to make it work. But she does have things happen and I don't know how to handle them, right? So that's where I felt like he was going. And Katie is very scary on the dark side. So Schwartz just vents, and I think he needs a vent, you know. And
that's his problem. He doesn't know how to express these things.
Also, he can't vent to like Sandoval or Jax because they'll tell everyone.
That's very true. That is very true.
He just vents about how he feels like Katie always talks behind people's back and is mean and fights, and he wants to have her back, but like he can't because he doesn't agree with her, and then they argue, which I get. I think
I think this is a normal issue.
I think you shouldn't have proposed if this was it, but I'm glad we're trying to solve it.
Or to say on camera, like, I have doubts about marrying her. I think you should say, we have issues we need to work through.
I want to work through before we get married. Yes. So he also says there's a lot of alcohol involved in these fights. And then we get to see some. Never forget him pouring a drink on her head. Also, my boyfriend is sticking up for the whore in there. So
God, that's the fact that one is that like a what's it called? Like bench seating thing that I'm like, I just love the entire environment of that.
I picture it outside too, and I don't know if that's correct.
Is it not?
Is it outside? It's just hilarious.
I feel like it's outside.
Absolutely hilarious because she says sticking up for the whore in there, and so I'm like, oh
yeah.
Okay, but Schwartz obviously is very upset about Katie's dark side. It does do a number on him. And
Yes.
so the therapist says, as your homework, you should check in with Katie and try and understand where her rage comes from. Because truthfully,
Great
I think
question.
Katie's rage personally is out of control sometimes. And I would like to know what makes you upset and can we like express our feelings in a better way?
And I think that's a disconnect for the audience, for Schwartz, like for everybody, because everybody's emotions are valid, but how you go about them may not be
And
valid. And so I
we
think where Katie's at, she goes so gung
yes.
ho about things that I think sometimes she even loses the initial reason.
And
And
I
that's like
understand.
understanding the initial reason would be so helpful for viewers, for Schwartz, for
Yeah, and
everything.
I do understand losing it sometimes when you're drunk. We all have.
Absolutely.
However,
I love to.
we need to understand like where it comes from and maybe reflect the next day because I've been there where I've been like that was
Yes.
inappropriate for me to act this way. It doesn't
Yes.
we don't know if Katie does that. We've seen sometimes she just doubles down because she's upset Schwartz isn't backing her up. There's a lot
And
of
what's interesting
levels.
is sometimes, like, the Scheana one, you could tell, like, kind of an incident, I'll say, happened while they were drinking,
Mhm.
and I feel like that one's easier to forgive because when you're drunk, you just aren't rational. Um, but then sometimes, like, I'm someone who I'll get mad about something else and then redirect it at, like, a totally different person not involved, and it's like, that's where you gotta learn how you are as, like, somebody who drinks and maybe drinks heavily on, like, not to do that,
Yeah.
not to start drinking when you're already upset.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's where the conversation, like Schwartz having a conversation with Katie can help her be a better person and he can support her in that,
I
but
think
he has to
that
do it
too.
right.
Where if he understands where the rage comes from, he'd be able to say, "Katie, you're not
Yeah.
actually," and he'd know you're not actually mad at me, right? This is what you're mad about. Let's
Yeah.
take a beat. Let's go for a walk. Let's like
Like how to process her own emotions with
yes,
her.
yes.
Yeah.
So, Schwartz does wish he could say like either the behavior stops or we don't get married, which I was like, he really, to me though, he hates this behavior, but like he
I
can't.
know, but the way he says
Yeah,
he
that's
wants to
bad.
do that, but doesn't have the balls to do it, I'm like, come on.
Break
If
off
this
the
is
engagement,
really,
dude.
yes, if this is really a make or break for
You,
you,
it's not going to
like you're
change
saying
because
it.
you're not doing anything about it. So
And like the like way you are marrying someone, you should expect for those behaviors to pretty much happen forever. So
yeah.
either you work on things or you don't, but you kind of have to accept some of these things that you're in a relationship with this person right now, and people don't change that
Yeah.
much.
So the
So if you hate that, move on.
agreed. So the therapist asked Schwartz if he's ready to get married, and he says he definitely has doubts, but he definitely wants to get married this summer. His voice goes up like 8 octaves. I definitely
Oh
want
man.
to. This
If
this was where I was like,
oh,
dude, then you should just you clearly do not want to get
I
married this
know.
summer.
It stresses me out because I feel like they have been such a good couple together. Like I like them
Oh,
together,
I don't.
but it just the more I see right now, the more I'm like, wait, why are you questioning it so much? Like it just felt like Schwartz always had like a fear of commitment and those weird financial issues like before he proposed, and so you're like rooting for them to like love, and this is the only couple that's still together from the OGs, and so you're
Mhm.
like, you've got this, but to see like more concerning like real things like financials are real, but like because you don't want to buy a ring, that's stupid. Like that wasn't like
Yeah.
a real red flag, and so now I'm like, wait, what's going on here? Because sometimes I don't understand their arguments. I'm like, is it alcohol or is it a real argument?
I wish he had kind of said this when she gave him an ultimatum. First of all, I don't think
Yes.
any healthy relationship starts with an ultimatum.
No.
However, I wish when instead of being like I'm scared of commitment, he would be like, "Well, there are some things I'm
Honest.
not sure if," and he could honestly say like, "I'm not sure if I'm ready to commit and live with Katie when she does this because it makes me feel
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable." And then they should have done this before he proposed. And he should have been
Yeah.
honest about it and been like, "This is what I'm
This
feeling."
is just the most we've seen of their relationship.
Yeah,
Like
and
season one, like
it's
Katie
not
wasn't
looking
really
good.
featured, Schwartz really wasn't that big of a thing. That this is like a really a focal point
Yeah.
of the season is their
And it's
relationship.
unfortunate they're supposed to get married and this is when
I
this is coming out.
I think this hits me different because like people our age are like actually getting
Also,
married too
I
now.
feel
Like
like, correct me if I'm wrong, I kind of feel like looking back on it now, they only really needed like she wanted to get married or proposed to because they just have been dating for so long, and he
Yeah.
just wanted to do it because he like does love her, but she wants it. Like neither one of them I think were like we want to marry each other. I think it was like, well, we've been dating long enough, so we just should get married, I guess.
Yes.
Like it just doesn't seem
Yes.
like cuz
But I don't think
to me if I'm
that
really
was a
in
red
love with
flag to
well, I
us when we
guess.
originally watched it
No, you're
because
right.
our age group was not at the age of like really
Yeah.
seriously getting married. And now that we're like seeing people really seriously get married, I'm
Yeah.
like,
I think
that's my friends are not like this.
yeah, I mean, I originally watched this as what, like a 21-year-old, 22-year-old. But I
Yeah.
think like watching it now as a 28-year-old, I'm like, if marriage isn't like an end all be all, right? Like if you're happy with
Mhm.
someone, you shouldn't be like, and now we need to take the next step. It'd be like, I
Yeah.
think you really need to be comfortable in your relationship before you be like, should we take the next step?
But I think we've come so far as a society
That's
that way
true.
too of recognizing that.
True.
Like back in the day, 7 years
Back
ago.
in the
But
day.
like a bit ago, like it just there was much more societal pressure. Like
Yeah.
now we know not to ask people what's the next step. Are you guys going to have kids? Like all these next questions. Like we have, I think some people have stopped putting this pressure on the next
Yeah.
thing, whereas you just felt like you needed to do the next thing.
Yeah, this makes me sad for them. And I do like Schwartz trying to get help about it, but it makes me nervous that like he just didn't before he proposed. Like this is the worst time to do it.
Yes. Well, I think this is it's better. Like it's better to do it now. In a way, it's like never too late. But yeah, he should have like he should have brought these concerns up sooner. And I really hope he takes this seriously. We see later in the episode it doesn't go well.
Same.
Unfortunately.
Okay, so we go to Sir. Lisa talks to Jax. There's gonna be a garden party, so Jax is gonna work the lounge bar, and then Jax tells Lisa that Scheana and Lala are fighting, and he wants her to know
I
it because this is a workplace, and he doesn't want fighting in the workplace. And literally,
I love
Lisa's like,
this.
"Sir, you thrive on fighting in my workplace, and other people fighting." Jax is like, "I'm
I
a really
love
good
this.
employee." You're
He's
welcome.
like, I take this very seriously. I've
I
grown up a
do.
lot, and like
Yeah.
I'm not into that petty stuff.
No, this is a workplace and I don't appreciate the hostility.
No.
And then this is when Jax is like, I'm trying to be a better person. Okay. At least I'm like
Oh,
letting you know.
shocking. Every year we
So
hear
now
that.
Scheana comes over and Lisa's like, what happened? And Scheana tells her, and she's like, Lala asked how I was. And Lisa's like, okay. and
And
and Sheena's like, and
oh,
we
the
are
retelling of this is even better.
and we aren't friends. And Lisa's like, okay, but you're coworkers. If she says hello to you, that's okay.
That's not weird.
That's okay, actually. That's encouraged. I
Yeah.
actually like that. And Sheena's like, yeah, but Katie hates Lala. And Lisa's like, I don't really give a fuck what Katie does or doesn't like.
I like you're not gonna treat people like this just because Katie
I was
hates her.
I was laughing out loud when Sheena said the literal quote, Lala asked how I was this weekend.
I lost it when she goes, yeah, but Katie's mad at
Katie
her.
hates
I was
her.
like, shut the fuck up. I can't
It's
imagine.
so
This makes me
stupid.
feel like if I went to my parents and I was like, my sister's being mean to me, and I'm like 28 years old.
They'd be like, okay.
Mom and Dad, she's being mean. I'm gonna call my parents tomorrow and be like, Madison's being mean to
Your dad would
me.
literally be like, what's different? Like, is this different?
We're like best friends
What's
now. He'd be
happening?
like, what the fuck? What do you want from me, Meredith?
Meredith, I'm done.
I,
Both of
I'm
you can
done.
eat outside next time you're here. How about that? So Jax says, I think he says it best. He says Katie, Stassi, and Kristen share one brain, and if you don't think the way they do, then you can't be a part of their group. Which is the most
I,
insightful thing Jax has ever said. Because
I
he's
mean,
been
it is
victim. He's
true.
been the victim. He knows.
That is very true. That is, yep.
So Sheena tells Lisa that Katie's mad at her because she chose to talk to Lala at work. And Sheena's just a forgiving person who doesn't hold any grudges. And Lisa's like, okay, well, I'm going to ignore that and just tell you to be fucking civil in the workplace.
And that's the crux of the Mean Girls versus Scheana. Is Scheana doesn't hold grudges. Like she wants to be friends with everybody.
Yeah.
And that goes to a fault where then she has no loyalties to anybody. But like that's a normal thing to do, to be like, "Okay, we can move past this little stuff, and I can be polite to you
I could
at
be
work."
polite. That's the difference. Is Sheena's
Yes.
very open to be Sheena just seems like the type of person that she would forget if she's mad at you because she'd be like, "Hey, what's up?"
She's happy-go-lucky, she's
Yeah.
bubbly, she's just bouncing into work,
She
being like,
knows what
"Oh,
it's
hi."
like to be on the outskirts too, so she probably just says hello. But then like the
Yeah.
mean girls get mad at her and she's like, "Never mind. Now I have to be hyper
Like,
aware of
to
not
Scheana,
saying
it's not
hello."
as serious to just, like, have a small little chit chat with someone
That's
at the
it.
bar waiting for a drink, whereas they look at it like, "You have no
Nope.
loyalties," and we're like, "No, you guys are way too on, like, the extremes of this." It's supposed to be like, you can chit chat and, like, be fine with
If she
someone
asks how
at
your
work.
weekend is, be like, "Fine, how was yours? Fine."
Good. Yeah, if you spent 20 minutes talking to her about your weekend, alright, be mad about that, but just answering the question, like,
Fine, how was yours? It was
Jesus.
fine. What'd you do? Went to the store. Cool. Like you don't even have to give
It's
detail.
so that's yes, you can
Okay.
just answer the fucking question,
So then we go to Katie and Tom's apartment. Katie's relaxing right now, doing her coloring books and drinking wine.
which I feel
This was
this
awesome.
deep in my
This was
soul.
adult, man. And then
Yes.
Schwartz sits down with a Coors Light, and Katie says she's not drunk, but she has had a many glasses of
Well,
wine.
he goes, "Oh,
Are
are
you
you
drunk?
drinking?" And I was like, "Sir, you literally have a beer in your hand, and you're judging her for sipping on her wine? What the fuck is this? Get off her back."
Yeah, wild. So, yeah, Katie's not drunk, but she has had a few glasses of wine. And Schwartz tells
Which,
Katie,
get after it.
he's like, "Hey, so I went to a therapist today." And Katie immediately gives him side eye and is like, "Why? Also, why didn't I know?" And I'm like, "Cuz girl,
This is
it's
why.
about you." And so
Yeah.
Schwartz says he just needed to vent, and he's like, "Hey, so he says, when you go to the dark side, it just makes me feel like I don't want to be around you." Which is
Oh, and I'm like,
you
"No,
can't
that was not the
you
way to bring
can't
it
blame.
up."
He should have said, "I was just talking about things, and when I see you go to the dark side, it makes me upset because I don't want you to do that because I think it makes you mad.
Yes.
So I wanted to
Like,
figure out how I can help you.
yes, yes. The
I
way
don't
he
want to be
phrased it
around
is like,
you."
"You're the worst person ever. Don't get angry." Like, come on,
And then
Schwartz.
he
How is
says,
she going to react to
"Oh,
that? Like,
it gets better." He says when Katie's in the dark side and says she doesn't want to be with Schwartz anymore, he actually wonders if there's a negative truth to that. And Katie's like, "I put down a whole ass deposit for a wedding with
oh my
you,
god.
and you're worried
I was
about
like,
what I say when I'm blacked out?"
"Why?" That's not what we talked about with the therapist. We just talked about how she gets like really mad sometimes, and we understand why. Like, you're really just throwing these darts at her, ready for her to
So now
blow.
both of them, I think, are off their rockers because he's like, "Hey, when you go to the dark side, you say fucking horrible things and you're a horrible person. And then you say horrible things about me. And I just have to wonder, like, do you actually fucking mean those things?" And then Katie, instead of maybe being like, "Of course I don't," she's like, "What the fuck do you think, you dumb bitch?" And I was like, both of them, stop. Like, both of them just need to be in a, there needs to be one fucking adult, and there's two children
I
arguing.
know.
It's driving me nuts too because I
Oh.
feel like if someone said to me like, "You say horrible things about me when you're drunk," and I have to wonder like, "Do you
Mhm.
mean those?" If I'm an adult, I would probably me myself be like, "Give me a second." I would take a deep breath. I'd be like, "What has upset you?"
Okay,
Th-
but also remember she's 3 glasses of wine
That
deep. He
that's
immediately
true.
when she was 3 glasses of wine deep, he should have been like, "This
I
ain't the
might
time for
have
the
I
Cosmo."
okay, I'm 3 glasses of wine deep. I might laugh a little bit and be like, "What has offended you? I'm still here." And then
I'd be a little
I don't
pissed
think
if
I'd
I was
be
3 glasses of wine deep.
pissed. I think I'd be confused. Or because it's wine, I might get sad that they feel this way and then make it
I
about
think I'd be
me. I
sad.
would be like,
Yeah.
"I did this. I'm the worst." And they'd be
Mm.
like, "No, this is not productive."
I would go defensive. The
I would
way
get
it was
sad.
said, I would go
I think
defensive,
I'd be sad.
especially the I don't even know if you want to be to be with me. I'd be the similar to Katie where it's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? We just spent so much money on this wedding. Like, what are you doing right
I
now?"
like to think I wouldn't because I have been the person
I know
who
myself.
says things wrong. So I try and kind of take a
Mhm.
step back most times. Also,
Yeah.
this is unhealthy, but I'm a very calculating person, so I will sit and think what's the best way for me to leave this unscathed. So I will take a deep breath and be like, "Whatever do you mean?"
Yeah, I think if he would have actually brought, like, a real example, I would have been able to have a more productive conversation and, like, actually take that to heart, but when people just say generic comments, like,
Yeah.
"When you go to the dark side, you say mean things about me," I'm like, "Fuck you."
Mm.
Like, I don't feel any pain from, like, what
I
they're
don't
saying
know.
because they're not being
I
specific.
also
But if you're
don't
like,
know, right?
on Saturday, you rage texted me, like, that's the thing I do. I as Meredith, I do that. Like, that was so mean, and they're, like, telling me what I said, I would feel fucking horrible, and I'd be able to, like,
Yeah,
feel bad
I
about
think
it.
the
But if you're just like, "You're mean to me when you're drunk," I'm like,
I think
"Whatever."
the other thing that, like, throws me off is this would have to be someone who's been in my life for what, like, 10 years and unconditionally loves me at this
Mhm.
point that I would be like, "Get over it," or like, I'd be like, "You know me, come on."
That's a
Right?
thing. Yeah, he's just making it so
But also I
generic that
care
it just,
about those
like
people more, so would I be like, "This makes me I don't know. Either way, I think they both kinda suck, but let's keep going.
Yes.
So, Schwartz is like, "Okay, fine, we put down a deposit, but you say bad things when you're drunk." And Katie's like, I'm usually trying to have a conversation and you never listen when I'm drunk." And I'm like, "Well, all right."
Which
Again.
Which Katie used a similar line about, like, I'm trying to have a conversation and you're not listening to Scheana last
Yeah.
episode, and, like,
Katie shouldn't
this
have
is a thing.
conversations when she's drinking.
Well, Katie, I wants to railroad people. My dad does this where he's like, "You're not listening," and it's like, "No, just because I don't agree with every single thing you're saying doesn't mean I'm not listening. I'm just saying something differently.
That's a
I'm
good way to put
contradicting
it. I
you."
think Katie used to not railroad people, and after everything that happened with Stassi, I do feel like some
She
defenses came up, and now she feels like she
Yes.
has to
Well, she got a little
railroad.
bit more
She
assertive.
has,
Yeah.
but she doesn't know that like to take it out of like her relationships, right? And like the people she
Yeah.
loves, she doesn't have to railroad. Okay.
Mhm, and Schwartz is like, "You're, like, yelling at me," and she's like, "This is just how I talk,"
Yeah,
and
oh
I'm
my
like, "That's
god.
not how you
Hilarious. Yeah,
talk."
because she says Schwartz is like being in a relationship with a wall and
Which is so
she just wants
insulting.
see, but these are the things she says when she's that like he's like,
I
"Wait."
know.
And then she says
He needs to bring specifics or,
she
like, be like,
here
"Exactly
it is.
this."
Yeah. She'd
Yeah.
be like, "It's not even that mean."
It
So
builds. I feel for him in that
Katie
moment.
says she just wants Tom to be a supportive partner, and Schwartz says it's scary when Katie goes to the dark side, and Katie's like, "Well, you've already paid me back for every time I've gone to the dark side." And I'm like, "Oh, we're keeping score."
We're tit for tat.
That
Here we
never
go.
ends well. And then yeah,
Mm.
Schwartz tells Katie to breathe and she's like, "No, cuz you dropped a bomb on me." I'm like,
I
"Well."
can't.
So
I
then
can't.
Schwartz is like, "I don't understand how this became an unpleasant conversation." And Katie's like, "Oh, you think I'm just going to take it?" And Schwartz is like, "No, I just wanted to have like a conversation." She's like, "This is how I have a conversation." And then
I love when people are like, "I'm not yelling," and I'm like, "You
you're
are.
yelling.
You
And then
literally are right now."
Katie or Schwartz is like, "I came to the gunfight with a knife. She gunned me
He
down."
did.
Yep. And so
Well, he came out swinging though. Like
with
the
his
things he
knife,
was
and she pulled out
saying.
a gun and was like, "Sit back."
Yeah.
And he was like, I lose." And
That's
so,
my thing is I know how to fight, and
same.
so if you're gonna actually come at me, especially when I'm drinking, I'll come at you 10 times harder and I
Agreed.
will win.
Agreed.
But it's deadly fire. Like this isn't gonna
No,
end
see,
pretty.
I'm calculating enough where I will win the fight, but I will make it seem like I am still somehow the victim in it. Like people will agree with me.
Like, are you
I
gonna
am
make them feel like shit and make
kind
you feel
of.
like they're the
I'm
victim?
kind of like a Stassi mixed with an Ariana, where I'm gonna pretend I don't care, and you're gonna get really upset
Mhm.
when I don't care, and you're gonna look kind of crazy, and then I'm gonna hit you
Yeah,
with like
especially to other
a little
people.
backhanded compliment that Stassi would give, but it's not that
Mhm.
bad because you're insulting me more, and then people
Yeah.
would be like, "Stop yelling at Alicia." And I'd be like, "I know, right? She's crazy," and then I would walk away like Ariana and be
I
like,
know,
"And
right? She's
nothing. She's
crazy.
crazy." So Katie then dismisses Schwartz because she's done talking to him and it's his fault for bringing this up. And Schwartz is
Oh my
like,
god.
it's fine. There's no doubts. I'm excited to get married to you. Why are you mad, dude? What? And then she's eating a salad while, like, all pissy, and Schwartz is
This is
like,
the worst part is, like, now they're both gonna have to pretend like they're just so happy and so excited to get married,
yeah.
and, like, that last conversation basically didn't
But now
happen.
Schwartz is like, "I'm done talking about my feelings," which also is not how, like, both of them are
Terrible.
toxic. Get out.
They just moved this chaos under a
This
rug
is
and literally started
horrible.
sitting and
This is
eating.
a
Yeah.
horrible if someone it to PSA to anyone, if someone comes to you when you're engaged and says, "I have issues with you," you should take off that ring and be like, "Then let's discuss because we should not be engaged if this is the amount of issue we have." Okay,
Yes.
great.
I think, the more and more I learn, the more people need to be in couples therapy before there's actually
You
problems.
should get in couples therapy immediately. You're like,
Maybe not
you
immediately.
love me?
Let's
As soon as
let's
they're like, "I love you," I'm gonna be like,
when you're in
"Let's go
like
to
when you're
therapy."
talking moving in, how about
I
we
think
start
we
getting
both
in couples
need to be in
therapy?
therapy anyway, which is great.
I'm in normal
Love
therapy. I'm happy to do
I
couples
love.
therapy in the
It's
future.
amazing.
I love talking about myself, so, like,
Yeah,
I can't
same.
get enough.
Anytime. So, then we go to Jax and Brittany's apartment. Brittany wants Jax to clean the fish tank, and Jax is like, so you mean I have to pay the
He is
bills, clean the fish
throwing a
tank,
fit.
and I have to make my own dinner?" And she's like, You never make your own dinner." And he keeps saying that Brittany doesn't work and he pays all the bills, and the least she could do is make him a
Okay,
sandwich.
what amazes me is at the end of this conversation, they talk about going to work. I'm like, she has a fucking job. We see it on the show.
Also, then he says he chooses to support his girlfriend, which that is your choice, sir. You want to take up the rent? That is on
Yes.
you. She has money. She
Well,
works.
okay. If people want a more traditional, like conservative household structure, that's their choice. You know, he pays the bills, she cooks dinner, fine. If you're both happy, they don't seem mad about that. It's like the one issue he has is he has to clean the fish tank. The only She says this is the only thing he has to clean.
Yep.
And, and this
I
somehow
have a
feels
feeling too it
unfair.
was his fish tank and she's like, "I'm not going to
I have
clean
a
the fish
yeah.
tank."
I don't.
Yeah.
Brittany doesn't seem like the girl that really wants a fish tank in her apartment.
No. So, yeah, Jack says he chooses to support his girlfriend because that's how he was raised and he expects something in return. Like if he was a girl, he would be making himself 25 sandwiches.
I hate when people say this because, like, fine, sure, if you think the power dynamic is much better for like women, fine, let's discuss that. But I mean, it's not. But I'm willing to have the argument. But here's the thing: it's not about like what you're doing, how much work it takes. It's about like gratitude when things happen. Like, I'm sure Brittany is gracious that he like pays for their apartment or whatever. But do you think he's gracious when she makes him a sandwich? I can probably bet
Nope.
$1,000,000 now.
I bet he's like, "This is
He's
expected."
complaining
He
about it
says
right now, actually.
it's expected. He's not grateful. This is what he
Yeah.
expects.
And that's what kills me is like household responsibilities. It's not just like the breakdown of it, like the percentage or whatever. It's the expectation that you'll just do it and the like being ungrateful. I bet if he's mad she made a meal that he didn't like, he'd complain about it for weeks.
Yeah, he's the worst. Also as someone who definitely doesn't want to live in like a traditional household, even though like my
Mhm.
parents kind of had it, right? Like my mom made the dinner, my dad
Yeah.
went to work, but my mom did also have a job, and when my dad came home, he would then drive us to our activity. Like they had different things to do.
They split the household
They
work up
split it.
differently.
Which,
Yeah.
like, fine, if Brittany does all the household work and she keeps her bag, do what you gotta do. But yeah, you've both agreed to your part. Nothing's expected.
Yeah.
You need to, like, still be partners. It's insane
Yes,
to
and if
me.
it sounds like your responsibility on your side of the fence was always the fish tank,
This
so,
man
like, again, why are we
sucks.
bitching about it?
So then, yeah, so they work at the same time today, and Jax is so unhappy. He hates working with Brittany. He hates his girlfriend. And so then Jax is like, if James is there, I'm gonna kill him. And then Brittany does an interview about how Jax wants to kill James, but her top keeps getting him, her dress keeps unbuttoning around the boobs because she breathes.
I I'm so confused at how that is happening because why the fuck did you wear that
The
dress
dress
first
doesn't
off?
fit you. Get a bigger size. It's okay.
And yes, and also, like, Bravo, like, approves these outfits. I've
Yeah.
heard in,
Who is like, just hold your
like,
breath?
future season people stuff, like, you present them some outfits and then they, like,
Yeah,
pick
this
one.
dress wasn't like
Why did we
this
pick
was
this
like a
one?
denim
Like,
dress from it didn't look like a nice dress. It
and
was just
snap buttons
yeah, the
too.
snap
Like, what
buttons.
are we doing
It was
here?
wild. So then we go to Kristen and Carter's apartment. Kristen got her teeth done, and here's Katie and Stassi to support her. Kristen's on the champagne diet because she can't eat. So health in LA,
I
everyone.
I truly don't understand veneers. Like, I understand that they're just like an outer coating over your real teeth, I believe.
I don't
Um,
know.
but is there like incisions? I don't know what goes into it, is what I'm
I don't
saying.
really
But
know
I just feel
either.
like alcohol isn't the thing you're supposed to be doing.
I just agree a lot on that. I also was
Like, is it like
confused.
a sticker on top of your teeth, or are we like really attaching those
I don't
babies?
know.
That's what I
Also,
don't understand.
just as a person, I never am like, hey, let's have the girls over and drink champagne. That's never
I
my
actually hate
that's not
champagne.
I do
After
too.
college, because I drank
Ew.
so much for graduation and I
Ew.
threw it up. Throwing up champagne is really
But
painful.
it's not like
Don't
fine, you want to have
recommend.
a mimosa, but never would I ever just be like, Meredith, come over. I have a bottle of champagne. Because you have to finish the whole
No.
bottle in one sitting. And it's not enjoyable.
Yes.
Great.
That's
So
true. Yeah, it's just bad mixed with stuff.
So Katie tells them about how Tom went to therapy, and Stassi's fucking
Mhm.
offended. Like, how dare he? And Katie obviously tells her side about how Tom went to therapy just to attack her. And Stassi and Kristen obviously support Katie and are like, fuck that man.
Seeing Katie's perspective of this conversation is
Very
actually
different.
kind of funny to
Very
me.
different.
Yes.
So Stassi says, sure, Katie flies off the handle, but that's
I mean,
women's
sure.
emotions. And I was like,
I'm gonna start
no,
using this. When somebody gets mad at me for
no.
my little rage text, I'm gonna be like, "You need to calm down," because, like, that's just women's emotions.
Don't throw women here. Don't throw us all
Yeah,
under
you're
the
right. Why am
bus.
I throwing all of us
Jesus
under the bus with
Christ.
me?
Just say it's your emotions. So,
Yes, my emotions are out of hand. Like, I
Jesus
can't process
Christ.
my own emotions.
So then Scheana is here. She talks about her own fake teeth because if you remember, she busted a tooth in season
Yeah, but
2.
when somebody else has something done, and then the Sheena's that type to be like, "Oh,
Me
me
too.
too," and I could see it on Stassi's face. She was like, "Sheena, we don't give a shit about your one
We've
tooth
actually
incident,"
already talked
which
about your tooth.
people hated it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Sheena though tells us that besides her mouth, she's had no cosmetic surgeries except her both. She gets a lot of Botox,
Oh
which
my
I was like, yeah,
god.
something changed.
Also, I need her to take out those
Those
stupid
fake
fucking contacts.
contacts,
They bother me
good times.
so
So then
much.
Katie asks about the text that Sheena sent Kristen, and Sheena tells them. And she's like, it's fine. I didn't talk to Lala. You're welcome. And
Mhm.
Katie's like, okay, but like, here's the thing because you did give her a little conversation that one time I yelled at you about it. And now she's going to just take any conversation. So you set yourself up for this. And
You did this to yourself.
Sheena's literally like, "Hey, can you just have like a little like faith in me? Okay, I'm not talking to Lala. Like I'm in the way you
Yeah.
think." And Katie's like, "Okay, but the other night I was trying to say that and you weren't listening to me. And you need to understand
And it's
that
like,
like you need to
no.
be the kind of friend we need you to be and then we can be best friends.
Red
You can't
flags.
be yourself."
Red
I was
flags
like,
here.
Sheena, get out. Leave this now. This is unhealthy.
I
You do not want to
have
be part
never
of
been on
this.
Sheena's side. And this, I'm scared
No,
for Sheena.
get out. This is a toxic relationship, also. Get out.
Yes, and they've set it up of like a tiered system basically. A Sheena will always be on the
She
bottom
will
of it.
always be number 12.
And they
Well,
use everything against her because
yeah,
they like the want for Sheena, or the desire the three girls have of Sheena wanting to be their friend is probably such an ego boost. They love it that they'll always keep Sheena on the chase
yeah.
and have her on this hook.
But she'll
So Sheena will
always,
never truly be on the
yeah, she'll
inside.
never. It's always going to be these three.
Mhm.
And now they're basically saying, like, you need to be what we need you to be. Like, you can't be yourself. Or, like, you
Yes.
can't be our best friend if you are.
And some historical stuff will always work against her. I think like coming into a trio, I think trios are hard
Trios are
anyways, but then coming
horrible.
into a trio is difficult, especially if they've just known each other forever. This is something that like time does kind of matter in some situations, and Sheena will never have the early days that they went through on her side.
Mhm.
So she'll never be similar friend to, like Katie that Kristen and Stassi are. Like Sheena needs to focus on having a different type of friendship with these girls rather than trying to be in this trio
Yeah.
as a
I
fourth.
like what you said that trios are tough because I do believe for a trio to work, I'm going to put it back to Mean Girls. That's how it has to go. There has to be one leader, one ass sucker, and one person who like couldn't
Mhm.
care less. because you
Yeah.
can't have two ass suckers to the leader. That's never
Or
gonna
2
work out. You can't
alphas.
have two alphas. They're all that's your that is
All of
the
my
only
trio
trio.
friends
Yeah.
don't exist anymore.
Same. I hate a trio. It makes me
It's so
nervous. It like
awkward.
makes me
Yeah.
anxious. But then when you
I'm the
add
I wanna always be the alpha is the problem.
I think I'm the ass sucker. I think I'm Gretchen Wieners. Because I'm always like, if you hang out without me, I'm always like, why'd you guys fucking do that?
Yeah, it's so hard to not get your
The
feelings hurt.
alpha's always in. So that's the issue. But then
I had to be that.
I'm not. I want to
I was
be.
too
I
insecure.
want to be, but I'm so insecure. I'm the ass sucker.
Hey,
But
this out of our trio from work, we're still together. We're a duo, baby.
we cut Mara out. But yeah, so then if you add someone who wants it, that makes the trio closer though, because they're all like, haha, we all
Yes.
have something in
It
common.
bonds them together.
Yeah, you're
They
making
now
a
instead of having one of the 3 on the outside, it's the 3 are together and the 4th
yeah,
is on the
you've made
outside.
an
There
inner
is truly
circle.
nothing makes a trio work like a 4th person.
Yeah, like a fourth
That's
one
true.
added. Because if you come in as a four,
Yes.
like as a quad, it could work beautifully. Because
It can
there's
work.
always going to be
Yes.
two
A
pairs of best
duo.
friends.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
oh man, I hate a trio. It makes me nervous.
You're so
Okay,
right.
so Katie says that she wasn't trying to attack Scheana, but like, and Sheena's like, well, it did feel like you were trying to attack me. And Stassi's like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean. And I know when people say that, something mean's gonna say it, but
I
you actually have a big issue, Scheana, where you're basically the sensitive friend, and real friends tell other friends when they have an issue with them. So you need to
they
be
fucking
better. Yeah, you
suck.
need to be better about letting us let you know when we have an issue with you and not fucking like having a
I
cow
just
about
don't
it.
understand why you just like won't let us tear you down and you won't just like take it.
Yeah, they all pile onto her. They're all like, "Yeah, Scheana, you're actually like really a horrible person," and blah blah blah.
The minute Stassi starts talking, I'm like, fuck, because you know Kristen then will feel comfortable chiming in, and Kristen
She
does.
does.
And I'm like, this, and the way they're sitting too, like they're on a sectional couch and they're on the main side of the couch,
Mm.
and Scheana is
On
on
this
like the arm, and
section.
I'm like,
Yeah.
no,
And they're like,
nope,
"We're
this
not attacking
miserable.
you. We love you. We're just going to list the reasons why we hate you." And I was
We're
like,
just, we love you so much. We're listing all the reasons we love you, but what you also need to change. But we love you. We're telling you we love you.
"So we can shit on you then."
I
This was
know.
so mean. And then Sheena's basically like, "Look,
I've never had a friend do this to me.
this is horrifying. I have had this happen in a tree. I have had this happen.
In a trio where like 3 people or 2 people are like telling you that
Three
you
people
suck.
in 8th grade told me I was so annoying and loud, and they just thought they could be my friend, and they had been my friends since kindergarten, and then they were like, "But we've decided we work better as friends without you." And then I had to wait
Oh
in
my
the
god.
driveway for my mom to come.
Oh my god.
They all came crawling back, don't worry, but it happened.
Jesus. Yeah,
Anyway,
I've never had a friend tell me that they love me so much, but
yeah. Yeah, they
XYZ.
all said they could be friends with me separately.
Thankfully when people just shit on me, they don't add in the love. They
I
just
got
tell me
I got the love. They
shitty
all
things
wanted to
to
be
my
friends with me
face.
separately. They just didn't want to be in public with me. I was so sad. I really was bullied as a kid.
Stop.
Yeah, it happened. So I
Oh my
hope none of
god.
my friends listen to this because that was a real
I hope
traumatic.
they do.
And that's why
I
now
hope
I'm
they
the ass kisser. And if I'm not included, I'm literally so anxious about it. Trauma.
Oh
It's
my
called
god.
trauma. Anyway, so then she got really
Trauma with a capital
we got really
T.
sad. Don't worry, guys. I'm okay now. I promise.
We're
I'm a
better. We're
full
better.
adult that
We're
doesn't give a fuck about anyone anymore. Okay.
yes,
So
we're fine.
Sheena tells them, yeah, you jump to conclusions when there was really nothing to jump to. And Katie's
Mhm.
like, but here's the thing, you should know better. So then they all just agree
I
to
can't.
confront each other with issues no matter what. I can't wait for the day Sheena has an issue and everyone goes, no,
Uh,
you're wrong. You're wrong about that issue.
they'll
Get out.
yeah, they'll actually they'll reverse it where Sheena will
Actually.
bring up an issue and all 3 of them will pile on
Actually,
her like,
that's
"I
your
can't believe you would
issue.
do that." Yeah.
Don't attack us. Pardon?
I can't believe you're attacking us right now.
So, then we go back to Sir. James is DJing. Someone offers him a drink, and he's like, "No, I can't drink at work." And like Lisa told him not to, even though he had a ginormous beer 6 hours ago, which we see on camera.
It's hard for me to always understand this type of stuff because, like, I would never pregame work because that's, like, 5 to 9 AM.
But if I'm
Um,
working at like 10,
I could see myself
I
pre-gaming,
might.
especially like in the like
I'm
entertainment
DJing.
restaurant
I'm
industry.
DJing. I'm gonna
Yeah.
pregame a little, yeah. So James,
Especially 6 hours beforehand, we're
yeah, we're fine.
good.
The alcohol's I've peed it all out. We're okay. There's no worries. So James doesn't think drinking is that big an issue, so he squats down below so the camera can't catch him to take the shot, and then he pops
This
back up.
I could see myself doing this if I worked in.
This was
Also,
hilarious.
when I was watching this, I was like, "Oh, this gives me flashbacks to season 1 when Stassi used to drink all the time at the bar."
She would put it looked like water, but it was like wine and
Yes.
tonic water or whatever and seltzer
Yes,
water.
with like a lemon in
Yeah.
there or something, so it just looked like lemon
Yep.
water.
Yep.
So this is
So this is
normal
fine.
in the sir
Also,
world.
he's a DJ. He's not like taking orders. Or fucking he wants to have a
I think he
beer.
shouldn't drink
He
because he's had
shouldn't. He
issues.
shouldn't because he's erratic when he drinks.
Yes,
But
yes.
if it was
But
me,
people getting on his back for
makes
drinking
him drink more.
other employees is not cool because you guys all fucking drink
Also,
or drink
it's
too.
gonna make him want to drink more. You
True.
say don't do something, it makes you want to do it. Okay, so
Especially Dad Jax of the group.
okay, so this is my favorite like production-y moment. So Brainy and Jax were talking about nothing. And then Gigi, who is not friends with either of them, but comes over.
This random chick.
She's like, "Hey, I'm a hostess, and how are you guys?" And Gigi basically is like, "Oh my god, you guys,
So stressed.
as my best friends, you should know that I'm like really stressed.
As my mic'd up best friends.
I'm really nervous to come into work on Wednesdays." And they're like, "Why, Gigi?" And she's like, "Cause DJ James Kennedy is here." And they're like, "What happened?"
And
And Gigi's like, "Well, in April, which was like a few months ago,
it
we
has to be like late June, July.
yeah,
Right
so
now.
in April, I didn't tell you guys then, but I'm telling you now, we hooked up and Jax is like, "Wait, he has a girlfriend that he's been dating since New Year's Eve." And Gigi's like, "Oh, I actually don't know anything about that. Production didn't let me know. They just went to, they shouldn't say that." But basically, she's like, "Yeah, I have no
Yeah,
idea.
she's not
I
concerned
just
about
started
that.
here in February, so why would I know anyone had a girlfriend?" But now everyone knows that I hooked up with him in April, probably because Gigi told everyone. And then
It sounds like Gigi has walked around where any camera could possibly be
yeah.
tonight and told
And then
everybody.
she's like, and then James flipped out on me and he called me a whore. And Jax is like, "Oh, he called a woman a
A
whore?
bad name? We
I
don't do that here.
only tell women to make me sandwiches.
I only tell women they're ungrateful for not making me
I am
food.
defender of women, Jax Taylor."
I miss Jax Taylor,
I
the
know.
defender of
He's
women.
back. So Jax says, "Oh, work used to be a fucking fun place, and now there's fucking
Mm,
drama." And then it cuts to Laura Lee saying, "Sorry, I've been fucking
I,
you without protection and been inside of you and told you really intimate things."
I, I will never get over that.
Work used to have no drama. Laura Lee.
Cut to
And
4 years
Jack's
ago.
fucking in a bathroom. The two of them.
I forgot
I
about
will.
that.
Laura Lee lives forever in my mind. I think about her at least
It
once a month, you know?
the way this man speaks as if we don't have footage of everything he's ever done for the last 4 years, and like you're not a saint, sir. Don't pretend
Literally,
to be. This isn't like hidden footage either, where like every once in a while he
no.
screwed up. It's seasons upon seasons of terrible
Literally,
things.
he dated like two women at the same time. He cheated on Stassi so many times. He broke up with Laura
It was
Lee.
three. Wasn't it three
Three
women at some
women.
point?
He broke up with Laura Lee outside of her AA meeting.
Oh,
And this episode, this season, he spread a horrible rumor about his own girlfriend.
yes.
And this episode told her to make him a sandwich. But a whore,
Yeah, but we call a woman a
ooh,
whore.
he's defending.
We're done.
So Jax then says it's so disrespectful towards Lisa, who Jax is also concerned about because she's a woman.
Like again, how are we so concerned about Lisa in the image of Lisa in these restaurants all of a sudden?
Jax kills me. So then Jax says,
We literally like last season had like a fucking fight at that birthday party with the Honda Civic selfie conversation. That was something that would embarrass Lisa. But like
James
calling a woman a whore?
also,
Not
James
really.
hooking up with Gigi and her telling everyone also doesn't
That's true.
she's the
Her
one
walking around this
she's the
entire
one
restaurant.
telling people. 'Cause then Jack says, "I'm gonna tell his girlfriend," and Gigi's like, "Oh, that wasn't my goal in telling you this." And I'm like, "But what was your
Yes, it
goal? What
was.
was your goal, though?"
Yes, it was, because he's not going around there's no way he is going around 3 months later bragging that he slept with rando Gigi, the hostess,
No.
who's not on the
Gigi's
show.
like, "I'm gonna go on the show. That's my goal." So Brittany and Jax, hey, guess what? And neither of them, Brittany does not care. Jax is the one that's like, "I defend
They did this
women."
they did this, like, last year, the season before too with James, with that girl, the other hostess who had the scratches on her backs
Oh
at
my
the Pride
god,
event, and then, like,
yes.
Lala found out. Like, why are we doing this? This is
I
stupid.
get James probably cheated on his girlfriend. There's no doubt in my mind he did that.
Yeah.
However, Gigi, what? 3 months later, you're like, "Hey." I'd be like, "I don't give a fuck, Gigi."
Do you think they paid her
Also,
or promised her to potentially be on the
I don't
show?
know.
Like, what's I just can't imagine
James
being
James is too
Gigi.
big a star. They're not gonna kick off James. He brings too much
No, no,
drama.
not kick him off, but, like,
Add her,
why what is the yeah, what is the incentive for her to do
but
this?
also imagine you're like Gigi's hostess friend, and you're like, "Gigi, we talk every day and we're besties, and you've never told me you hooked up with James, but you're telling Jackson Brittany?"
She's like, "Oh, I just had
She's
to
like,
do
"Well,
this
you're
for the
not on the
show."
show, so why would I tell you?" So Jack says he's gonna ruin James's life. So Jax tell
Which why does Jax care about fucking Gigi the hostess too? Like, this is a nobody to you.
Jax has probably called her a whore. Are you fucking kidding me?
Jax is probably the one who slept with her and called her a whore in April.
So Jax then tells Sandoval what Gigi said, and Sandoval's like, Sandoval and Ariana are both there, and they're both like, "Hey, remember when Brittany came and you basically did the same thing to
Did the same
Lala?"
thing. Oh my god.
And Sandoval's,
He's like,
"No, I didn't call her a whore though. I just told her to shut
I
her
didn't.
fucking ugly mouth and jump
I
off a
that
fucking
literally is the
cliff."
exact same thing. The only difference is Jane's girlfriend is not moving in with him and living with him forever.
Yes. Yes. Also, Lala was actually on the show and Gigi is not. So there it
Yes.
is.
Yeah, we got all that stuff on camera of
Also,
them actually
Jax,
hanging
we
out.
have Jax on camera trying to court Lala. So
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
So Sandoval basically says Jax hates looking at James because that was him 10 years ago. So he's angry about it, which is also so on the top of the
That's a
nail.
good it's true. Like, it is kinda hard to stomach the things you used to do. You wanna be better,
Yeah.
and he should be better, but the saddest part is Jax is no different. It's not like it's hard for him to stomach because he's a better person 10 years
No,
later.
he is still this
He is the
asteroid.
same
Yeah.
person, just a different age, so he gets to call himself mature?
Well, he's had a girlfriend for at least 8 months now, and
Jesus
they don't
Christ.
fight, so he hasn't been fucking around. So he's a better
That we
person
know of.
that we know of. So, yeah. So basically Jax is like, "James is more douchey than I am." And Ariana's face killed me because she was like, "Is he?" So good. So
Not worth the argument.
Lala goes over to James and she's like, "Hey, I heard you're hooking up with other chicks. AKA Gigi told me 30 minutes ago that you fucked her in April."
I love that.
And
I love that so
James is
much.
like, "Why the fuck would like what who's Gigi? Also, wouldn't fuck Gigi with the 10-foot pole."
Wait, that's the best. He's like, "Oh,
Who?
the blonde
And
one?"
Lala goes,
And
"She's
and Lala's
brunette."
like,
She's
"No. Like, we don't
brunette.
even know what she looks like. I don't believe this happened. This is so dumb. Not worth the
I
drama."
think he did, but he doesn't care. And if it was gonna be a storyline, she should have told people 3 months ago.
That's the thing is, like, I needed her to, like, tell people a few months ago, hang out with him at a girls' night, and, like, let this slowly
Yeah, this
fester,
was
but the fact that
weird.
she's telling people slowly during the work night,
It
and then it all
gives
blows up in the same work
it
night,
gives like
it's
I'm trying to be
stupid.
on the show energy. Pick me energy. Yeah. Fucking it's the worst.
Yes.
So James says he's driving an Aston Martin. Why would he jump in a Honda Civic? And this man hates a Honda Civic.
This
So
man in Honda Civics and his jokes, chef's
So
kiss.
James says he's dating Raquel and fuck other bitches. And then Jax hears and he's like, "Hey, what are you guys talking about?" And Lala's like, "No one's talking to you." And Jax is like, "You're a nobody." And Lala's like, "Then why are you talking to me if I'm a nobody?"
He's like, "No one's talking to you," and she's like,
You
"You are
literally
literally
just
talking to
talked to
me."
me. So then Lala walks away, but Jax is like, "Hey, I heard you hooked up with Gigi and called her a whore. And James is
He's
like,
screaming this.
yes.
Remember, we care about Lisa and how things affect Lisa and her
Jax
image, but let's scream
across the
about
bar.
whore
Hey,
across the
I heard you
bar.
called Gigi a whore. And James is like, hey man, what are you doing? James is me in an argument. I'm going to get you more mad.
Because he like walks up to Jack so he's not
Yeah,
screaming
he's like,
whore
hey
back
man,
across the
hey man,
restaurant.
what are
Hey
you
man, what's
doing?
up?
And James is like, why do you care? You're working. Stop talking to me. And Jax is like, I can do whatever I want. And James goes, I'm a rock star. You're a bartender.
The way they also like move the camera to get the people sitting at the bar's
They're like,
reaction, I'm like, this is
awesome.
the weirdest experience. The like cameraman's probably like, damn, I gotta like double duty these people and
We
all the
get the
reactions. Like,
camera,
this is too
get the
much.
camera
We
off
need
Brittany.
another.
Bring it back here. So then Jax is basically like, anyone can push a button on a laptop. And James goes, in Vegas. That was so
uses
James
their
is so
jokes.
good.
Their like insults, they don't even phase him. It just like it's like runs right off his back. And he's like, yeah, but I do that shit in Vegas.
That was so funny. And then James is iconic because he's ignoring the patrons at the bar. And
100%.
James goes, they need to take an order, Jax. They need to take an order. You need to get them more cosmopolitans. Pumptini. That's one of my favorite James moments of all
They
time.
need a drink.
Jax, they need to take an order. You need to get them more cosmopolitans. Pumptini.
I love it.
So
Like,
Jax,
I don't know how James just knows what would get under everyone's
so
skin because
good.
like if somebody did that to me, like at my little job, if he
Same.
like gave me like chanting things about my little job, I'd be like,
what?
Right? Like, ooh, I don't have a comeback.
If I said I could push a button and he goes in Vegas, I'd be like, no, actually, I haven't done it in Vegas, but thank you. Also, I think in Vegas might be my new favorite like comeback because it was nothing, but it angered Jax to a point of no return.
Yes.
So
because Jax doesn't fight like other people don't fight back the way James does. No one really in the world fights like James does. So it's just you don't know how to respond and keep the fight going, even if you are good at fighting. Like I would love to see James and Stassi go at it.
Oh my god, that's my dream team.
Because I think even he would trip up Stassi.
I think the only person might be Ariana because he's not going to get her flustered.
Yes.
But she's not going to have the comeback. He's going to get mad that she's not getting mad, but she won't be able to
like
retort.
A draw.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great. So Jax walks off with a fist, his hands in a fucking fist, ready to fight.
Arthur fist.
So then Schwartz is here. He finds his handsome friend Tom Sandoval with the man bun. That's Schwartz's words, not mine.
I hate it so much.
Schwartz tells Sandoval what happened with Katie, and Schwartz is like, I'll never share my feelings again, haha. And Sandoval's like, this is unhealthy. Also, you're my best friend, and Katie sucks. But Schwartz is like, never mind my feelings. I would like Ariana to be a groomsman. Katie, though, does not want Ariana to be a bridesmaid. She has made that incredibly clear. No, so Schwartz is not going to tell Katie that he's asking Ariana to be a groomsman.
Great solution. We'll just hide it from her.
Oh.
She doesn't want it, so we won't tell her about reality for a little bit.
To not make her mad.
The way this man thinks.
To not make her mad. So
I'm gonna hide things from her about our wedding.
Yep. So he did bring Ariana a steak to make it fair. So
that is fair. I like this.
I like that. So James goes to talk to Lala and Gigi. James comes over and he goes, "Oh, is this the girl?" And immediately Gigi's like, "I'm the one you had sex with." Yeah. And
oh my god.
She's like, "You're mad I'm not obsessed with you." And I'm like, "Well, Gigi girl, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good.
This 15 minutes of fame ain't gonna come.
Gigi, I just see why you didn't make the show. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, you're not bringing it. You're not doing it well.
So James tells Gigi, I don't know what James does. He tells
Gigi versus DJ. This is gonna be a hard thing.
James tells I did it again. He tells Gigi that she's unacceptable and very rude, which can't crack me up again. And Gigi says James has no talent. And now they're both yelling at each other. But
There's a
Gigi's,
table in
yep,
between
I
them.
would
That's
pay
the worst
money to be at this
part.
table.
How does nobody have their phone out?
I'd pay money.
I guess we weren't there yet, with social
I
media, how,
don't
like,
know,
instantaneous it
but this
is.
was hilarious. So they're because Gigi is ready to go in that DJ booth and fight him. He walked away and is just
Yes.
yelling at her. And so Lala is like, oh well, not me. It's basically like, it's fine.
Like,
So
Diana gets involved and is like,
yeah,
"Stop!
yeah, yeah.
Stop
So
yelling. Stop
Diana
it."
is like, no, we're gonna break it up. So then Lisa's here. Diana immediately finds her and is like, I gotta talk to you. I caught James yelling, and Lisa's like, send him to me. And I'm like, what
I
about
need
Gigi
more.
though?
I thought the same thing, and nobody fucking cared when Jax, Lala, and James were screaming at each other. Like, this it just feels so produced on this one that I'm like,
It's
"Come
always
on. This is
James.
what's
It's
gonna get
always
him
my
out?"
dude
Yeah.
James. Okay, so James joins Lisa outside and Lisa's like, "What is happening?" And James is like, "Nothing. I wasn't even yelling. What are you talking about?" And she's like,
The way he, like, is able to come down and be like, "I don't there's no
"What are you
yelling.
talking about?"
I don't know what you're
And
talking
so
about."
then James says, because Lisa's like, honestly, and he's like, it's just petty drama that these bitches are spreading. And Lisa's like, what the fuck? And James is going off about how these are thirsty little girls and he can't give them the water that they want. That was
I
so funny. I was
Oh my
cracking up.
god, the way he's always like, "People are coming after me. They're
I
just jealous of
I like
me. They
don't
want all of
I
this."
don't want to support him because if I'm Lisa, I'm like banging my head against the wall, right? But he's so
100%.
funny. So James tells Lisa that Lisa is feeding into what other people are telling her, and he actually doesn't appreciate that. And Lisa's like, "Excuse me, not Calvin Harris. You have a problem." And she's like, "You need to calm down." And he's like, "No, because I'm not doing anything, Lisa." And she's like,
Oh.
"Hey, go back to the DJ booth and shut the hell up.
Play the fucking music and don't talk to a single
Shut
soul.
up." And so then we go to the back of Sir. Schwartz joins Ariana, who's out on her break, and he's
Mhm.
like, "Hey, do you want to be my groomsman?" And she's like, "Yes, I'm so honored and
She's
happy."
so
And she's like, "I've never
happy.
been a groomsman before. I'm excited to wear a suit." I love a girl
I'm
who will
excited to
wear a
see her
suit.
in a
That's great.
suit.
So
I
then
can't wait.
Schwartz says there's a catch though. You got to eat a steak and a shrimp. And she's like,
The ass steak.
"Okay." And she takes that shrimp right in her mouth and then she takes that steak with her bare hand and takes a big bite without blinking an
She
eye.
kind of Here's the pros and cons of her where she's at is she doesn't have to eat the whole steak because she's like at work and they don't even have a full fucking plate for her. But she knows that it's an ass steak going in.
But
There's the
also part of
downside.
me was like, there's no proof. So maybe it's not an ass steak.
That's
Because what
true.
has
I feel like the
Ariana
shrimp,
ever done to
maybe.
him?
That's true.
And
Actually, I believe that there's nothing happened to
I'm
this shrimp and steak
assuming
because there wasn't a lot of shrimp on his ass either. And those boys ate a lot of
I'm
food.
also assuming that there's other groomsmen that Schwartz asks that don't have to eat
And
an
didn't
ass
have to do this
steak.
treatment.
I think
And
this is
maybe
for the
even if he
show.
like rubbed it against his ass,
But then
he didn't
you
do it after
you
the three
cook it
mile
right,
run.
and it all the germs goes away.
Yes.
It's fine.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
appreciated her though, being
Not
like,
not the same
I'm
condition.
sure off camera she was like, "Did you really in your ass?" And he's like, "No," and she's
I
like,
really
"All right."
don't think she
I don't
cared.
think she
I think
cared.
she kind of loves the bit of it of
Yeah,
like I went
she's a good
through the
sport.
hurdles of
She's
being a
great.
groomsman.
So then we go
Yeah.
to Sir. It's now 11:30 p.m. James is talking to Sandoval because they're technically closed. And
Which
Sandoval's
very early night.
I was confused because Sandoval's like they're closed and he's cleaning up, but James still needs to play music in the DJ booth.
I'm wondering if they close rooms slowly.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
So
like maybe the garden gets
truthfully,
closed early and that's where he
I
is.
don't care either way. So
We never see them close, so I thought this was weird.
I would assume it's later than that. So Sandoval says he just wants James to keep his job, and James, with very slurred
Mhm.
words, tells him his job is kept. So then James is like, let's do a shot because we're closed. And Sandoval's like, okay. And James is like, yeah, Lisa's not even around, so it's fine. So they take a shot, but Lisa's right in the back, and you can tell she was not supposed to shoot because she is not mic'd up. And
I
she
know.
she is pissed. She is like, "What is happening?" She tells James, "Get back to work." She goes up to Sandoval and she's like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "We're technically closed."
Mhm.
And she's like, "No." And Ken is also there and he's pissed. So then the cameras, we're not ready for Lisa and Ken, obviously, but
Yeah.
we get like a weird through the window look because the cameras caught him on James's mic, I'm sure. James is outside yelling with Ken and Lisa.
You can hear Ken Foley, him yelling
Yes.
just from
But it's
James's
clearly
mic.
not his own mic, and that's how scary it
Yes,
was.
yes, but it's
Yeah.
like it was way, quieter in the restaurant because they were further apart and
Yeah.
Ken was just, like, speaking in a normal tone. When they are outside,
Ken's
like,
clear
closer
as
together,
day.
I literally was like, "Dude, like, this is real life shit."
So Ken's like, "You're not supposed to be here when you're drunk." And James is like, "I'm not drunk." And
Mhm,
Ken's like, "You are drunk." And like how you're speaking to Lisa is like not acceptable. And Lisa's like, "You
mhm.
seem very drunk." And James is like, "No, I'm not." And Ken's
James doesn't know when to not argue with
no,
these
he needed to
people. Like, shut
just
the fuck up and just take it, and he probably
yeah.
coulda kept his job right there.
So Ken says he's running a business and now James is crying and says he won't do it again. And James is upset that Ken's upset because Ken scares the shit out of him. And then because Ken is still yelling at him and James squares
Yeah.
up to him basically and is like, "What?" And Ken's like, "You better back the fuck up," calls him a little fucker
Mhm.
and says he will knock James Spark out for disrespecting Lisa. And Lisa basically says, "You need to go home."
Yeah.
Scary. So then we cut right to Villa Rosa, where James is
Ooh.
entering. He's ready to
Not
just give
good.
his apology and head back to work. Max, Lisa's second favorite child, is here. He does leave to go to work because he actually has to work while her first favorite child is not.
Honestly, it's just second favorite human. Like, I think her
Her dogs
dogs and
come
animals
above.
are her
She would kill
children.
Max for her dogs for sure,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
her horses and her swans. So, Lisa tells James, "You've turned into a drunken asshole. So, what's going on with you?" And James is
Yeah.
like, "What do I do?" And you can tell he's kind of just like, "Fuck the consequences to my actions."
Yes. Yeah. I think this is like so far and deep. A lot happened last night that there's not really much he can say.
No, because Lisa's basically like, "Look, you're fired and don't come to my restaurants." And James is like, "You can't fire me. That's crazy." And Lisa's like, "I've given you so many fucking
Yeah. He's like
chances."
indefinitely like fired, not like on
Yeah.
probation, will come back. This is a lot more like harsh, but he has done this shit in the past. Like you can't
Yeah.
it's the outside next to the car moment. Like you can't pull that type
And
of
I don't
shit.
think he's fully grasping his drinking is an issue because he's like,
Mhm.
"Sure, it's my fault, but it's also Jax's and Gigi's fault." And I'm like,
Yeah, he's like, "I
"No."
just let them get to me." And it's like, "Well,
So then James starts
ugh,
crying, and Lisa tells him to sober up. And this is where I'm like, I think he has a problem because he's like, "It's so hard, I can't control it." I was like, "Dude."
yeah."
So then Lisa basically says, like, "Get out, leave." And Lisa has tried to stand by James and she will support him, but she refuses to enable him.
I appreciate that. I think he really needs like such a harsh moment in his life to take it seriously. Like we've had Lisa has had multiple conversations with him. She literally had one at the beginning of last night after the Gigi fight, and he still like is pulling shit later on even in the night. And he always says like I won't ever do it again. I won't do it again. All these little things, but we don't believe him. And why would Lisa?
Yeah, I think being at these restaurants enables him and like though I'm sad, I really want this to be a wake-up call for him like maybe I should stop drinking cuz as Lala
Yeah.
said nothing good happens when those two are drinking.
No.
Given nothing good happens when like Katie drinks either, but like these two are at least recognizing it and seeing consequences.
And well, Katie, I think, can drink and not have moments. Like, she can drink with her girlfriends and not have
That's true.
fights.
It doesn't
It
seem
seems
like
like James is
James.
always
Yeah.
explosive.
Yeah.
It always gets too far.
Yeah. So next time, James and Sandoval fight, or Jackson Sandoval fight about James. Lala and James talk about rumors about themselves. Katie and Lisa talk
Mhm.
about Katie and Schwartz's fights, and Katie says Schwartz's dick doesn't work. Which I'm happy to see that they're working things out. Therapy is really working. Um,
Oh,
okay, should we do
yay.
accepted and blocked?
Yes. What do you wanna do
I want to
first?
do blocked.
Okay, let's do black. Go
I'm
ahead.
blocking Katie. I just can't.
Ooh.
It the talking with Schwartz, I understand he totally
Mhm.
presented that wrong, right? But
Yeah.
I think she got too defensive, right? She didn't really
Mhm.
listen. And then she yells at Scheana about being defensive when she basically comes at Scheana the same way.
That's a good
And
point.
also, she is leading this Mean Girls gang, and it's horrible. It is horrible to watch. It's horrible to watch them sit here and be like, Scheana should know better. And if you say hi to Lala, she'll take a mile, and that's your fault. Like, it all just seems fucking crazy. And then when she talks to her girlfriends about it, she can't even do an honest, like, hey, what do you guys think? Because she's like, Tom's basically going to therapy like a psycho, and he's attacking me. And these girls are like, fuck.
It's
Like, it's just the way
it's so
she's
bad on all
presenting it.
fronts.
Like, it's so bad.
Mhm.
Okay, that's my thought.
Yeah. No, that was a good one. I'm going Jax. I hate the way him and Brittany had that conversation over that fish tank. Horrible.
But
Like,
he's
sir, just
defender of women.
oh my god. And then the way he just has to get involved with the James Lala conversation. I don't know why. Whenever I like thinking about that back before I watched it, because this episode I remember very well, or this that night. Sorry, I remember very well because the pumptini, whatever. Um, I always thought Lala and James were like standing at the bar. They were having their own separate conversation, and Jax hates this man so much that he will literally get involved in their
Yeah,
conversations just to yell at him.
Jax is
Come
trash.
on.
He also
Like,
hates
why are
drama,
you
though.
getting
So,
involved? Yes, you literally told Lisa earlier in the shift that like you were tattling on Scheana for
mm.
shutting down a conversation with Lala because you don't like drama. And then here we are screaming middle of the evening rush like about James
I don't
calling someone
know.
a
You know,
whore.
it's
Make it make
Jax
sense.
defender of women, hates the
I
drama,
not in my
loves the
book.
sandwiches. You know, he just
Loves
chilling.
the 5 sandwiches. Would
25,
love to make 5 sandwiches
25.
happily, he said.
Okay, who would you like to accept?
No one like makes me happy this season yet. I've started to notice that. Everybody like kind of makes me
Everyone's
angry.
bad, right?
Yeah.
I
Do you
that's
have
why
yours?
I mean accepting Jax for 2 episodes was like a hot take, but there he at least made me laugh, you know?
That's the
And it's
thing.
hard
Is
because
like
Ariana's not really in it, and like everyone's
I
super
know like people
Sandoval's
who
not
like
really in it.
I feel like the benchmark is like people who are annoying me and pissing me off are down here, and then there's just other people, but they're not like making me happy or making me
Like
laugh or
okay, I'm gonna no, because I want the only person to make me laugh was James, but I don't want to accept him because I think
I get
he's
that.
rock bottom, you
All right,
know?
I'll go.
Okay.
I'm gonna accept Schwartz. I think the intention of going to therapy is really good. I don't think the conversation went well, but you know what? It takes a while before therapy sets in, so I hope he still goes. And I really love that he picked Ariana to be a groomsman. Like, I think he does
Uh,
have a really sweet heart and he doesn't want her to like feel left out. I think he goes about things the worst way, and I don't want to be in a relationship with this man because if you made someone a groomsman and didn't tell me, red flag. But I think it's really sweet the way he interacts with like his friend in that moment.
yes. Okay, Schwartz was one of my top people.
Yeah.
As I said, James made me laugh, but it feels wrong accepting him.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna accept Scheana.
Yeah.
I
I think that's a good pick.
I like that Sheena's trying to, right? I think she came to a realization, right? She was trying to make her friends happy by basically dissing Lala, but then she got
Mhm.
attacked. And I think she realized in that moment, she's like, you're all attacking me. And even though they said, no, we love you, I really want that to be
Yeah.
like a wake up for her to kind of be like, wait. And I'm rooting for her because I don't think it's easy when like that situation happens for anyone. And
Mhm.
instead of fighting for this friendship, I want her to just be like, I'm going to do me. And if that's not good enough for you, then fuck off. And I think this is
Yeah.
the beginning of her maybe getting there. And I
I
think
appreciate her trying to do friendship
she's
their way
trying
though.
to
I
be a
think
good friend. But like,
yeah.
I think then she realized, wait, like they don't actually like me.
They fucking
And
suck.
I want her to get there
Yeah.
and I want her to be comfortable with herself. So this is more of like I'm accepting her because I'm rooting for her. And I think she deserves
Yeah.
better.
I think she needs a hug.
But
Like that
don't get me
sucked.
wrong. James was absolutely fucking hysterical.
reality TV gold. There's our gold star of the week.
Okay, so thank you to everyone. Join the Patreon, follow us on Instagram and TikTok.
Mm, mm, mm.
Leave us a review, and we will continue to do season 5 slowly but surely.
Woohoo!